Overwatch has 32 different characters, each with their own strengths and weaknesses, although some only have weaknesses. I'm joking, of course. But balancing's always been at the top of everyone's minds in a game as competitive as Overwatch, so today, we'll be ranking the characters into 3 classes. To start us off, we have the weakest. Now I have to highlight that not all of these characters are bad or not fun to play as, and in the right hands any character can be good, just not as good as some of the others. To begin with, we have Winston. We all love that feeling of leaping into the enemy back line, staring death in the face as your health drops to 1, then popping your ultimate moments before you die and laying waste to their team, then getting slapped, flashed, frozen, shattered, hooked, and killed. The problem is, Winston's hitbox is around the size of Jupiter, so trying to dodge isn't really an option. Next we have Bastion. Bastion is clearly the best character in the game. He's actually really skill-based. Okay, let's leave that there. In all honesty, he sucks. He's a nightmare to play against and forces both teammates and enemies to play around it. In fact, he doesn't just protect the objective, but becomes it. And the worst part? He isn't even fun to play. Unless you decide that he's meant to be a flanker, in which case, good luck. And next we have Brig. I don't think this is a surprise for anyone. Brig is one of those characters that's just bad by design. She's practically useless in most fights, but insanely good at stopping attacks on her team's backline. This makes her super annoying to play against, and can easily ruin matches for certain heroes. But once again, massive respect to people who try to play her as a flanker. I will never get tired of seeing people's shock when they leave spawn only to be ambushed by a rogue Brig. Wrecking Ball is super fun to play as, but in the heat of battle, he's pretty bad. He's designed to be a high-speed flanker, assaulting the enemy backline, cutting off whole areas with his ultimate. Except if any kind of crowd control goes near him, he's dead. It would be fun if he was better, but at the moment his best use is as a distraction. Torbjorn, much like Bastion, specializes in defense and not much else. Whilst it's true, I do have a Torbjorn Golden Gun, I still don't really enjoy playing as him. He just doesn't feel fun. His turret hits like a feather and doesn't stand a chance against a whole team. Unless you're on that team, in which case it feels like your team will continuously die to the one turret again and again. Zenyatta is everyone's second favorite floating robot, only being beaten by this one from Paris and possibly every other floating robot. He throws orbs like he throws games and won't hesitate to use his ultimate to save himself after his team dies. Unless you're playing as Genji against him, in which case he will happily wait the whole match until the second you use your ultimate. What's that? A hit scan? Looks like it's time to switch to Junkrat. Pharah is insanely good until they pick Cassidy, Soldier, Widowmaker, or really anyone else. Playing as Pharah seems to always result in a loop of picking Pharah, they go hit scan, you switch, they switch, then you pick Pharah again and it starts over. Still, it will never get old hearing justice reigns from That's right, it's Overwatch's favourite luck-based hero. Junkrat finds an angle, holds down M1 and waits until the red guys disappear. And is it just me, or is there a trap literally everywhere you step? You cannot go around a corner without stepping on one, and once you do, it's game over. And that's about it. Oh yeah, and his ultimate's broken. Now with that out the way, we can move on to the good. These characters are the most average in Overwatch. Well done, I guess, if that's a good thing. Running in and shredding the enemy like paper, it's Soldier 76. He is really good at medium range. Now he has no recoil, Soldier 76 seems like a pretty strong pick. He counters heroes like Pharah with ease, melting them in just a couple of seconds. Overall, he's a pretty good hero. Genji about to bleed? Use Immortality Field. Diva Bomb? Immortality Field. EMP? Good luck. Seriously, Baptiste is one of the best abilities in the game. It is better than some ults. I think most people would agree that the ability to prevent death is pretty overpowered. Baptiste's one downside is his lack of mobility, because once his lamp's gone, he becomes a pretty easy target for flankers. Okay, first things first, Genji sucks. As someone with over 300 hours on him, he sucks. With the current state of Overwatch, Genji does not have a chance. The only reason he's in this category is that he's really cool. The animated short with Hanzo is still insane after 5 years. Even if he is underpowered, I don't think we're ever going to stop playing as him. After that, I think it's only natural for us to talk about Hanzo, our second luck-based hero. Hanzo's playstyle seems to revolve around sitting in your team's backline, spamming that one corner until somehow someone actually walks into the arrow, and they always do. But I have to admit, his dragon is pretty awesome. Diva is a pretty decent hero, coming in with the ability to absorb most ultimates, detonate a nuclear bomb, and now crush unsuspecting enemies with a 50-ton mech. I will never get used to seeing Diva with no mech getting team kills, and it all started from a joke. basically Bastion, but better. Orisa can deal ridiculous amounts of damage with the ability to make herself invincible and pull enemies off the map. She pretty much has a mini graviton surge. Her one downside is that she is incredibly slow. While firing, you can expect to be outrun by most snails, slugs, tectonic plates, and icebergs. He's not bad, but not good either. Doomfist comes flying in utilizing strange geometry for maximum damage. He slams his way into the enemy backline, uppercuts the healers, and punches the tanks. Then he realizes he doesn't have any more abilities and dies really fast. We all love Lucio, the fast-paced playstyle of riding wolves, evading death, and forcing overtime until next week. He's just fun. When you pick Lucio, you know you're going to have a good time. The one downside, he doesn't really do anything. The amount of healing he provides is impressively low, and I've played plenty of matches where I've been out-healed by a Roadhog. But if you can actually play Lucio well, congratulations, you're probably top 500. Well, we all know where this is going. Nobody likes Mei. If you ever meet someone who claims to play Mei for fun, run. Mei is the scariest hero in the game. I will literally have nightmares about the hundreds of times I've desperately tried to escape from that beam and failed. It will never stop being terrifying turning around to see that big red wall and realizing that you're trapped in a small room with Mei. Terrifying. Now these are the best of the best. Either through good abilities, weapons, or just being completely broken, these heroes have worked their way to the top, and with the current state of Overwatch, it looks like they're here to stay. I think this is probably one of the most unsurprising on this list. Widowmaker is kind of broken. She sits on the high ground and clicks on people's heads. That's about it. Honestly, her abilities aren't that good, but she feels so satisfying to play. That little ding every time you hit a headshot will never get old, but it feels really bad when it happens to you 8 times in a row. Nobody dislikes Mercy. Maybe her res is a little overpowered, but I think it's okay because she is insanely easy to kill, so I guess she needs something to balance it out. A good Mercy player can easily be the difference between winning and losing a match. There's also just something insanely fun about flying around the map dodging bullets. Roadhog is fun. There's nothing more to it. Running around the front line eating bullets like you're invincible, because let's face it, you are. His healing ability is broken. Imagine the look on your healers' faces when they realize they lost gold healing to a Roadhog. Roadhog is self-sufficient. He can quite comfortably go all the way behind the enemy team, get shot at, and survive. He is, in my opinion, the perfect Overwatch character. High health, a ton of damage, and a lot of fun to play. This was actually not one I was expecting. Ashe is way better than I thought she was. All her abilities just seem to work. She's basically Widowmaker crossed with Cassidy, and it is insane. Ashe does a ton of damage with her weapon. Her dynamite's broken, her coach gun can get her away from any danger that would kill someone like Zenyatta. And don't forget about Bob. He's literally a 7th player on the team, Omnic Butler and Minigun. So we all expected this one. Cassidy. Since the game first came out, he has always been overpowered. I don't think, aside from GOATs, there has ever been a single meta that didn't involve him. Cassidy is and always will be one of the best characters in Overwatch. His weapon's great and goes perfectly with his abilities. His alternate fire roll combo will always be insane. And I haven't even talked about his flashbang yet. His flash is one of the best crowd control abilities in the game. The feeling of hitting a tracer then getting a headshot will always be fantastic. Speaking of Tracer, she has always been one of the most oppressive characters in the game. Once there's a Tracer in your team's backline, all you can do is send a Cassidy or a Brogue to look for her while she's continuously destroying your healers and escaping. Her ultimate's insane as well. It literally guarantees your team a win to a fight. You're almost ensured to get at least one kill with it every couple of teamfights, and that is why Tracer is one of the best heroes in the game. Sigma has one of the best ultimates in Overwatch in my opinion. The ability to take half of someone's maximum health with one attack is insane. Using that mid-team fight on a crowded group of enemies feels incredible, even if they weren't killed by it. The massive damage combined with the slowing effect almost guarantees that they will be. Echo is literally insane. Her bombs burn through Squishy's health like a knife through butter. And then there's the beam. The sheer amount of damage is ridiculous. If you're below half health, it's over for you. There is no escape from the beam. Reinhardt is the only character that can do what he does. which is of course providing a mobile way to protect his team and let them do damage while staying behind cover. His charge might as well be a self-destruct button, but his other abilities are super. His shatter is actually insane. If the enemy doesn't have a barrier, then they've already lost when Brian's around. Admittedly, this one is definitely going to be biased. I just love Reaper. He's awesome. You can hide behind the enemy team, do a ton of damage, heal yourself, and escape whenever you want. Reaper is just the best. And I didn't even mention his ultimate. Moira is one of the best healers, probably the best DPS too. She can go basically anywhere risk-free because between her orb and her teleport, she's not dying. Before I played as her, I would definitely have put Symmetra in the same category as Bastion, but I was wrong. Symmetra can do a ridiculous amount of damage. She forces people to choose between shooting her or the turrets. If they choose her, they die to the turrets. If they pick the turrets, they're killed by Symmetra. She gives her team a massive advantage to the start of any fight she's in. That's why she's in this category. Ana has a ridiculous amount of healing. She's probably the only healer that can keep a tank with as much health as Wrecking Ball alive. As well as this, her grenade makes her a nightmare to play against. It's probably the only reliable counter to Roadhog or Reaper, who would otherwise be in your backline forever. Not to mention her sleeping ability is one of the best for shutting down ultimates. If you want to carry a game, pick Zarya. The worse your teammates are, the more damage you do. You can turn bad teammates into an advantage, and that ability is why Zarya is so good. Her bubbles are one of the most annoying things to play against. They protect so much from burst damage that it becomes almost impossible to get a kill. Now there is one character who is just more broken than you could imagine. Sombra, everyone's favorite Overwatch character. Why does Sombra exist? No one knows, but what I do know is that she counters pretty much everyone. I was doing some tests and she can keep a target hacked for up to 15 seconds. 15! Sombra is the most Thanks for watching. This video took just over 30 hours to produce, so I hope you enjoyed. And as always, subscribing is greatly appreciated and I hope you have a great day.